Today, I'm going to talk about a few things that were really difficult to me when I moved to the United States. And some of these things I still struggle with. And I'm going to talk about it on this video. So I will give you my top 3 things that all foreigners struggle when they move to the United States. At least I did, and I still do sometimes. Number 1, the language. Of course, if you're from England or a country that the native language is English, you'll be fine. But if you are from a country like China, Japan, Colombia, Brazil, is going to be hard. It's so frustrating, you guys have no idea. I mean, if you're American and you live in the United States and you never left the United States, even to travel to another country, you don't know what I'm talking about. I remember my first week here in the United States. My husband's family is huge. And on my first week, I met pretty much everybody because it was my mother-in-law's 60 years old birthday party. Every time someone was trying to interact with me, I was so nervous because, for example, everybody was like watching TV and then all of a sudden everybody starts laughing and everybody's like, ah! And then I'm like, so then someone say, so what do you think, Marina? And then I'm like, oh, I think that's really funny. So I'm just curious, is the same in Brazil? A little bit, yeah. How? It's like kind of like the same. At that point, I'm like, okay, they're thinking I'm stupid. I had no idea what they were laughing about, and that happens all the time. And I can guarantee that happens with all the foreigners living in another country, not just the United States, but if you're American and you live in Japan, probably went through this situation. So that happens a lot, and it's not because you're stupid, it's because you didn't understand what they're saying. But the worst thing for me is when you have so much to say about something, about like a subject, and then like you have everything on your brain and you want to express yourself, you want to give your opinion about something, and like everything is in your brain, and you're like, oh yes, I have an opinion about that. I want to discuss this. And then nothing comes out of your mouth. One day, my family was talking about politics. I love talking about politics. I mean, in Brazil, you know, if I'm in a group of friends, we talk about politics all the time. And I like talking about politics. So I had so much to say about the subject. At that point, I was living here in the United States, I think, for about a year. My English was better. I understood like everything they were saying. I mean, not everything, but almost everything they were saying, I was understanding. So I want to be part of the conversation, you know? I want to like talk about it. So what I was thinking about saying was, in Brazil, voting is mandatory. I guess it would be different if everybody was obligated to vote in the United States. It will completely change the political map in this country. But I totally understand that if everybody was obligated to vote, it could be seen as like a violation of civil rights. So that's a controversial subject. What do you think? Should citizens be forced to participate in an electoral system? How is in Brazil? And guys, everything that came out of my mouth was, in Brazil, we are obligated to vote. 1 year, the monkey won. Then everybody looks at me like puzzled, like, and continue the conversation or change the subject. You know, they didn't even like, you know, they were like, oh, I didn't understand what you said, but, you know, yeah, so what do you think? How was the trip to Hawaii? You know, they changed the subject. That didn't even make any sense. Like, I talk about the monkey that won the elections in Brazil. They don't know what that means, dude. And I know, I was like thinking, oh my gosh, they think I'm stupid, no. But sometimes it's just on my head. Sometimes maybe they are empathetic. Maybe they think like, oh my, okay, she doesn't speak English very well. You know, she's not stupid. But I think like for most of the foreigners, that's what we're thinking. We're thinking, Americans are thinking that we are dumb. Situations like this still happen with me. Not like as frequent as before, but sometimes I'm still like talking with friends, like American friends, and then I say something that is super awkward because it doesn't make any sense, and they look at me and or they think that I'm stupid, or like most of the time now I think they think that I'm a little awkward or weird, you know, because they don't understand what I'm trying to say. So okay, now let's go to number 2, the food. The food here is so spicy. It's really hot. I couldn't handle. I still cannot handle very well. I'm better, but in the beginning was extremely hard. Everything that I got that was like mild for them, to me was like my first week living in the United States. My husband, he wanted to introduce me to all the different international restaurants, right? So I got Thai food, Indian food. So my first week here, I had the worst diarrhea in my entire life. It was horrible. I couldn't leave the toilet. And that was on my mother-in-law's 60 years old birthday party, and everybody was there. I was like yellow. I was like super pale. It was just horrible. It was horrible. My body couldn't handle the hot, the spices. So that was really hard for me. So I'm not going to say that's the worst thing ever, because today, you know, I'm doing better. My body, you know, your body kind of get used to it. But the food, I feel like I should put the food on my top 3 because that was really hard on my body. Number 3 for me is actually my like number 1, because that's the worst thing for me, is to be away from my family in Brazil. That's really hard. I cannot put in words how hard that is. And I cannot even imagine for those who moved to the United States with no support, no family, no nothing. I cannot even imagine how hard that is. Because for me, I have my husband, I have my husband's family, and they're wonderful. They're wonderful people. I love them. And I feel like if it wasn't for my husband and his family, I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it. Right now, I will be back in Brazil. Like my husband and his family, they were wonderful to me. They were really supportive and I love them. These are my top 3 things that I struggle about living here in the United States. If you live here in the United States or any other country that is not your home country, let me know what are the things that you most struggle with. You can type here in the comments below this video and let me know. I love to know, you know, these things. It's always good to like chat. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video, of course, if you like this video. And that's it. I see you next week. Beijo. Tchau.